48 years old and I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. Thank you. My story begins in 1981 when at the tender age of 16 I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease. As a teenager, all you worry about is your friends, fashion, boys and living life. So this was a huge shock. It was detected by my thankfully slightly neurotic mother, who's here today, who insisted there was something wrong when doctors said the lump in my neck was probably my thyroid or maybe a swollen gland. Luckily, through her persistence, I went to see a leading specialist. What followed was a biopsy, the removal of my spleen, and 6 months of chemotherapy and radiation treatment. I completed my HSC the following year and was cancer-free for the next 25 years. During this time, I got married and gave birth to 3 beautiful children. Life was cruising along pretty well. In 2006, during a routine exam, my doctor noticed a tiny lump. It was the size of a pea in my neck. He suggested I get an ultrasound just to be on the safe side. Turned out, after visiting 2 endocrinologists, it was in fact thyroid cancer and needed to be removed. The late Professor Chris O'Brien was my surgeon. He was an incredibly special man. I received radioactive iodine treatment following the surgery. Unfortunately, 6 weeks later, Chris O'Brien himself was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumour and had to stop seeing patients. What followed was probably the worst 8 months of my life. No, not the cancer, but a very deep and intense depression. Until this hit me, I had managed my cancers with great strength and a positive attitude, but this depression was an entirely new monster. I won't go into too much detail, but for anyone who has lived with mental illness or been clinically depressed, it is one of the most challenging diseases of all. You can only see darkness, and it prevents you from being the person you truly are. At times, it was impossible to see any light at the end of the tunnel. Fortunately, through the loving support of my husband, family and friends, I did come out of this horrible depression and life continued. I wish I could say this is where my cancer story ends, but during my very first mammogram in December 2009, at the age of 45, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Geez, hadn't I had enough? I thought surely I must have the BRCA gene. Why do I keep getting all these cancers? The answer came to me from my oncologist, who said the extensive radiation I received as a 16-year-old had caused both the thyroid and the breast cancers. This now made some sense to me. I underwent a double mastectomy and breast reconstruction over the next 6 months, followed by 4 cycles of chemotherapy. I am now coming up to 4 years cancer-free. I am happy and I am hopeful that I've beaten cancer for the final time. They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, I can honestly say that I do feel strong. I am strong. I'm appreciative for all that I have in my life. I feel grateful to all my doctors and surgeons and to the wonderful medical facilities that are available to us all in Australia. I feel lucky that I'm alive and living my life surrounded by people who love and care for me. I'm so glad to be involved in this incredible walk this weekend to end women's cancers and to have raised money to help support the Chris O'Brien Lifehouse. Thank you. It is because of the Lifehouse and other medical institutions like them that I and hundreds of other women will hopefully continue to enjoy many more happy and healthy years ahead. Thank you for all listening this afternoon. I hope we can all continue to participate in future walks and other fundraising events to raise money and awareness and please God to one day beat all women's cancers once and for all. Thank you very much.